Hello, this is Ness Tilson here. In this video I'd like to show you how to set up modular furniture. Sometimes when you have a project which is a bit big, it's much easier to divide it into separate modules and assemble those modules in the project mode. Here is an example of a simple project which is simply a desk, and if this desk has got, on the one side has got a module which has got drawer unit, and on the other side has got a cupboard unit. In between the two we've put a panel, and on top we've put a worktop. If we open the different elements, we have the drawer fronts here and the door on the right hand side. This is a very simple project to set up as a module, and if we have a look at it here, we can see in project mode we've assembled all the different parts, and we have the drawer part, the right cupboard part at the top, and the back all separately. And these can be now reassembled, and you can take each different module and create a different project with it. So how do we go about setting up a simple modular bit of furniture in Polyboard? Well, let's start a completely new bit of furniture, and I'll show you how to do it from scratch. So here we are in Polyboard, and let's just start a new project. We'll just start an empty project, and let's add just one model to it. Let's go over here. First of all, hang on, let's put the language in English. Let's go over here into the models list, click right, and add a new model. And let's give the dimensions of this unit the dimensions of our drawer unit. Let's say that we give it a height of 750 and a width of 500 and a depth of 500, and let's just click OK. Now we have the model in our list. Let's double click the model to edit it. And let's create our drawer unit. First of all, let's give it a plinth. So let's give a 100mm plinth here. Let's take the bottom and put the bottom as overpassing on the right and the left side, so that when we go into the plinth area here and click right, and I click plinth, let's put a plinth on the front and set it back 30. Let's not put a plinth on the back. Let's put a plinth on the left side. So we're going to set that back 32, and on the right side we're going to leave it as flush to the right side, and let's see what this gives. So now let's go in 3D, and we have here our plinth element which is flush on the right side and set back from the front and the left side. That's great. Now let's go back into our project here, and let's just add our drawers. So let's add our drawers. Let's add 4 drawers, and let's give all out, let's do some assembly details, and just add our drawers here. And here we have our drawer unit. Look in 3D here. Okay, this is our drawer unit, that's fine. Now let's close, and let's take this drawer unit and close it and create this as a new model and call it our drawer unit. Drawers. And now we have drawers in our models list. Let's put in a drawers here. And let's put 2 drawers in, and double click one of them, and now let's change this set of drawers here, get rid of the drawers. Let's go into our plinth section underneath here, and let's invert the plinths. Let's say on the left side here, in fact we want it flush, and on the right side we want it set back, the plinth, and let's click in the volume here and add a door. Let's add a door. Let's hang it from the right hand side, and now we have our door. Let's quit this particular edition and call it a cupboard. And now we have our cupboard unit, and now we have a cupboard and the drawers here. Let's take another cupboard unit, for instance, and put it between the two and click the other cupboard unit up to it. Double click this cupboard unit in the middle now, and we're going to create it as a back. So delete the door, and I'm going to get rid of the plinth elevation here. So let's get rid of the plinths already. Get all rid of the plinths, and let's get rid of our plinth elevation. And now let's get rid of everything except for the back. So I'll get rid of the bottom. Left side I don't want it. The right side I don't want it. And now we only have a back here. And let's quit this, create a new model, and call it a back. So now we look in 3D, we have our two elements, one on the right, one on the left. One is a drawer, one is a set of cupboard, and one is the back here. That's great. Now let's say that the back, this section in here, we don't want it to be 500 millimeters wide, but we want it to be, say for instance, 1 meter. So let's double click the back, and the back, let's give it the width here, not 500, but let's give it 1 meter. And let's quit, and let's this time save the modifications in the back. And now let's take the cupboard and clip it onto the end of the back here. And now we have 1 meter here, and our 3D project looks like this. Now let's put on our top here. To put on our top, let's just take the basic model here, click twice on the basic model, and let's just get rid of everything that we don't want. So we want to keep the top. Let's go on to no back, no left side, and no right side. And now we have our top. I create a new model with this and call it a worktop. Now let's throw in our worktop. Here we have our worktop. We can see that the polyboard is snapping onto the exterior sides of our cabinets. Note our snapping lines pulling them onto the exterior sides of cabinets. Let's take a total size of our desk unit here. Let's take our measuring tool, horizontal measurement from here to here. We have 2 meters. Let's right click this and use it as permanent dimension so that we have 2 meters here. Let's quit our measuring tool. Right, now what I would like to do is I would like to take this worktop and put it on top of my office desk, but I would like the worktop to be overlapping on either side 30 millimeters. Well, I could make a calculation very quickly and say we need the worktop to be 2 meters 60 then, 30 plus 30, 2 meters, and 6 centimeters, that is 2060 millimeters. Let's see what happens. If I take the width here and I put it at 2060 millimeters, the worktop is readjusted and I can try and put it into place here. But note that I'm having a problem is that I'm snapping to different areas. I'm snapping either on the right or on the left. I can't center it easily onto my office desks, my other units. How can I center this worktop onto my office units? Well, the way to do it is like this. Let's click twice on the worktop. Now the worktop is actually 2 meters, 2060 millimeters wide. We want it in fact to be 2060 millimeters long or wide, but we don't want the limits of our cabinet to be 2060 millimeters. We want the limit of the cabinet to be 2 meters. So what we do is we click the top and we go, it's linking to the left side. Instead of it being underpassing and with a recess, we're going to put a groove, and the groove we're going to give it 30 millimeters deep. And we're going to do the same for the right side. Instead of underpassing recess, we're going to put underpassing over the groove, and the groove we're going to give it 30 millimeters. And now we can see that in our virtual cabinet here, because we haven't got any other elements except the top, but the virtual cabinet is actually, the top is actually overpassing the virtual sides. Let's click go out, save it in the same top model. Now if we look at our worktop, we can see now that the exterior size of the cabinet is been redimensioned to 2060, and the actual worktop width is now calculated as 2012. That's 6 centimeters, 60 millimeters more than the actual dimension of the cabinet. Let's put the cabinet width, total width, or should we say it's the length, at 2060 now, and see what that does. If I put the total workshop width as 2060, and now we get the dimension of the cabinet as 2000 here. And now if I drag the worktop, we can see now that we're actually snapping to the limits of the cabinet, which is at 2000, and the worktop is actually overlapping either side here at 30 millimeters. So here we have the overlap of 30 millimeters. There's still one little problem with our worktop. If I look at it in transparent mode, X-ray mode, we can see that the worktop is exactly the same height as our two units here, our drawer unit and our cupboard unit. This is because, in fact, the original bit of furniture is actually the same height. So, in fact, the units, the drawer and the cupboard unit, are actually penetrating into the worktop. To change this, while worktop is selected here, let's just go into its Z position and lift it up. The thickness of our worktop, we've got 19 mil, and now the worktop is actually resting on top of our two units here. So that's just quickly how to set up a modular unit. We have now a modular unit with a worktop that overlaps equally on both sides. Thanks for looking at this particular little video, and I hope that it's been interesting for you, and I hope to see you soon again in another video. Goodbye.